Alright guys, so this is another fanfiction idea I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about. And this one's gonna be pretty fun to talk about because this isn't really a crossover per se, but it is something I thought would be like a neat idea to really play with. And that is, as you can see from the title, Atlantis versus Asgard, which I don't think has happened in Marvel. I don't think this has ever happened in Marvel Comics of having the Atlanteans and the Asgardians fighting. We've had Atlantis attacking the surface, we've had Asgardians fighting the Shi'ar, but we've never really had like a full, what would be like if Namor and Thor went to war on each other, and that rhymed. I just realized, yeah, that rhymed right there. That rhymed. Wonderful. That's good. That's good. So anyway, so this story begins in the depths of Atlantis, where Namor has been summoned by some of his soldiers, who have basically, like, they claim that someone has been excavating deep into the heart of, like, they've had a mining crew to mine minerals from the ocean's depths, and they've discovered something. They've discovered, like, a tomb, and it's weird because it's not Atlantean. So Namor's like, oh, fuck it, I'll go. And he goes there, and what he discovers is the tomb. It's a bunch of Nordic stuff, and he's like, well, I know who I'm gonna have to call. So Namor looks into it, like he's further looking into this tomb, and he discovers that there's also Atlantean bodies among these Nordic these kind of Nordic Asgardian relics and whatnot. And then he discovers this isn't just any kind of tomb. This was a war. This was a war between our races, and among it was this Asgardian king, this great Nordic king who wasn't Odin, but was like one of Odin's greatest generals in the time of in a time long forgotten. So yeah, this is a great Asgardian war. Like, people looked at him as like some Asgardian war hero, as we'll come to find out. But essentially, Namor calls down Thor. He summons Thor. Thor comes to Atlantis and explains, yeah, this is Ingvar. This is Ingvar the Great. He was one of my father's greatest generals. He was a great warrior. And then Namor interrupts him, going, and a genocidal maniac. And Thor's like, excuse me? So Namor explains this, like, yeah, we never really had a name for this guy because it was lost to Atlantean texts. But thank you so much for naming the guy who nearly wiped out Atlantis. So Namor explains to Thor that Ingvar was this warrior who they never had a name for him, but he came from. They said it like the ancient, because there are like myths in even Atlantis. There are things older than Atlantis before it sank. So Ingvar, when Atlantis, shortly after Atlantis sank, like it wasn't too long until the Atlanteans started to breathe water and whatnot, that Ingvar came down and was. And saw the Atlanteans as like an abomination, like an affront. They were like this genetic impurity, like mutants and whatnot. And Ingvar wanted to destroy and slaughter these Atlanteans before they could spawn. Ingvar, that was the whole thing with Ingvar, was that he was looking for a reason just to kill people. And that's how Namor explains it. It's like he just wanted a reason to murder people. Your great war hero was nothing more than a fucking psychopath, Thor. And I am going to destroy this. And Thor's like, whoa, Namor, king to king right now. Just let me take the body. I will move it away. I will take it away. No problem. There's no reason for us to to have a fight right here, because I will drop your ass. Yeah. And Thor agreed. It's not like Thor says, "Oh, you're wrong." It's more like, "I didn't know Ingvar was capable of that, but you probably and Namor backs it up with like historical texts and whatnot." And he's like, "Oh, nice to know another blemish on his Guardian records. Silly me." Anyway, so but I will. He is I will take his body for proper burial, and Hela will take it from there. Like he never since Ingvar never had a proper burial. I'll take it from here. I will take his body, and I will mosey on out of here. Well, unfortunately, what happens is during the quarrel between Thor and Namor, Namor wants to just destroy this and destroy the entire, take the Atlantean bodies to give them a proper burial and destroy the Asgardian bodies, while Thor is trying to be like, yeah, I'll take the body, I'll take the Asgardians too, that followed him into this war, and then I will leave. Unfortunately, what happens is during this quarrel between Thor and Namor, what essentially happens is that Ingvar's spirit, who's been trapped in this corpse of his, comes to life and just starts attacking Namor and even Thor, saying like, "You're a false king. You wanted to make peace with the Atlanteans. They are unknown creatures from a bygone era. As Asgardians, it's our job to keep Midgard safe, and the Atlanteans posed a threat to that." Yeah. And Thor's like, "Dude, you wanted nothing. You would probably love nothing more than to have a reason than to go to war. Namor, you just wanted a reason to kill somebody." Namor was right. So the two team up, take out Ingvar. But what happens is Namor is just like, your master has a point. That corpse had a point. Like, your whole thing was about just defending the humans from any threat, and I was one of those threats. However, I'm going to let this go. You take the body, you do what you want. But that's not the end of the story. You see, what happens next in this coming conflict, think of this as like the prelude. What happens next is that an Atlantean colony is then attacked by a group of who they claim to be Asgardians. And in turn, the Asgardian god of the sea has been wounded by the Atlantean god Poseidon. So now even the gods are getting into this because they've just stirred up a whole hornet's nest. So now it's back. There's now a coming war between Atlantis and Asgard. And Thor comes to the Avengers and tells them, Thor is Captain America's like, "Thor, Namor and I are considered allies, and you are too. I want to figure this out peacefully." And Thor goes, "I came here as a courtesy to let you guys know, stay the fuck out of this. This is between Atlanteans and Asgardians. There will be no, I swear to you, there will be no Midgardian blood here. There will be no Midgardian, no one from Midgard will be harmed, as long as they stay out of my way." And Iron Man brings up the point, Tony brings up the point of, yeah, that war you might do with Atlantis, this war between you and the Atlanteans, yeah, that's gonna ruin shipping lanes. Thor, you say you don't want to harm, have Midgard harmed by this, but people are gonna get harmed regardless. If you let the Avengers help, we can, maybe smooth out things diplomatically, or we can do something to help pacify whatever and Namor wants. And Namor at the same time is talking to the X-Men, I'm not gonna because he's mutant, so he goes to Krakoa and is like, "No doubt Thor's gone to the Avengers. I would have gone to them, but I know they'll probably be more of Thor's ally if it comes to it. But I'm letting you guys know, stay the fuck out of this. I'm well aware that Krakoa, you're gonna stay out of it regardless. But this is a common courtesy. This is gonna get ugly." So now war approaches, and it turns out that there are two people who are kind of orchestrating this Asgardian Atlantean war. And the two people behind it are Kang, not Krang. No, not Blob Krang from Ninja Turtles. I'm talking about the Atlantean Namor villain Krang, and shit. Sorry, my brain stopped. The other person is Hela, because yeah, when Ingvar's body was discovered, Hela was able to reclaim his body, but she got the idea of this war is going to cause a lot of Asgardian deaths. So yeah, also Krang is like anything to get rid of Namor. So Hela and Krang have been orchestrating this entire thing. So now we have this huge war approaching between the Atlanteans and the Asgardians. And when war comes, it comes hard. Because Namor unleashes the Black Trench from the King in Black story, or the Black Tide, or whatever the fuck. I haven't read that event yet, so that tie into King in Black, so yeah. You also have Thor coming down and battling with Namor. That's really what this event, if this was an actual event, that would what we'd be all interested in, is an open battle between Namor and Thor, and see who's stronger between those two. Like, in a whole fight, like, Namor, like, shoots out of the water and shouts Imperious Rex, and Thor coming down with his hammer going, for Asgard! And they're just collide. That's a 2-page spread right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a 2-page spread, if I ever thought of one, of Thor and Namor coming at each other from opposite ends, ready to fight, shouting Imperious Rex and for Asgard. Yeah, like, that would just be beyond perfect, right? Like, we can all agree that that's just sell that to Marvel right there. Like, just sell that to Marvel in any way, shape, or form, and they'll be totally in on it. They would just be 100% in on whatever the fuck you're selling. But yeah. So, of course, there are so many ways. Like, you could have Tiger Shark taking on Beta Ray Bill. You could have, like, Namora fighting Sif. There's a lot of, like, Asgardian Atlantean matchups that you could really do with this. So, yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.